All right. Hi, all, and welcome to the Women Who Mule for APAC region. I'm very excited today just because this is our first virtual meetup for the Women Who Mule APAC region. And because of you guys' support, we get our own separate meetup group, which we're gonna share the details. You guys can come and join there as well. And with that, thanks all for joining today. And I'm hoping with this group, we can bring a lot of flavors, technical, non-technical, some of the leaderships, and what we do in our day-to-day things as well. So a lot of flavors we can bring to you guys from the medium of this forum. And we can create some inclusive ecosystem, inclusive culture in our ecosystem. So with that, I will probably request you all who have recently joined, please introduce yourself in the chat. Tell us from where you are, from which city you are, and what is the famous in your city, or anything you want to share about your city. And of course, weather, why not? I can tell you guys, I'm based Melbourne and it's very cloudy over here. So we'll continue this thing in our chat, and we will be reading all the chats. So, but before that, I'll come to the agenda. We are looking forward to have this meetup as an interactive session. And so please, guys, feel free to put onto the chat for any questions, anything that you want to ask. And today, specifically, we will be covering C4E, which I'm going to share about what is C4 is, why it's so much buzz in the digital acceleration for the organization, and why that is so critical to be established in the organization. And then I'm very excited. We are having a MuleSoft ambassador with us, Mary Joy Sibyl. So she will be taking us, she will be sharing the journey of her from MuleSoft developer and how he get into the ecosystem and the journey till the MuleSoft ambassador. So that's very exciting to have you, Mary, on board with us today. And then the most important part of the meetup, the training announcement. If you guys are looking to get some more information around that, Raquel will be sharing all the events and the training sessions that will be coming up soon. And in the takeaways and wrap up, we have a surprise, some giveaways. So stay tuned till the end to see what is that giveaway. So, all right. So with that, I'll probably want to touch base with for the passionate women that we are having in MuleSoft ecosystems. So you can see there are a lot of women who are leader in the different region, and you can see there is AMER region, EMEA region, and APAC region. And all these passionate women are contributing from their end to the community, which I'm very grateful of it as well. And with that, for the APAC region, it's me and my passionate partner, or I would say passionate Rajni, the woman who is into the MuleSoft as well, who is helping me to organizing these events and bringing you all those things, exciting things to you. Yes. So the people who don't know me, my name is Sonal Sharma. I'm working as a senior integration architect currently with the Capgemini, and we are organizing Women Who Mule APAC team, and I'm based out of Melbourne. And now I will hand over, and I'm very passionate about Women Who Mule, as you can see. I'm all the time talking about it again and again. So now I will hand over to Rajni to introduce herself.
Thank you, Sonal. Talking of passion, apart from, I would say, MuleSoft, she's also very good in integration. So that's another passion for Sonal. I'm Rajneet. I work with MuleSoft, but MuleSoft has been like one of my favorite integration tools for a while now. That's why I still stick to it. I'm stuck to it at the moment because it's so far working on so many integration engines. So far, I've seen it's really, I like working on it. I'm based out of Adelaide in Australia. And yep, if you guys ever need anything, just feel free to reach out to us. We are here to help.
Cool. Do you want to tell a bit more about Rajneet about the ecosystems? Um,
Sure.
of Mentor, yeah.
Can you take us to, sure. So can you take us to the next slide, please?
Okay. Probably you want to just go like that. Meanwhile, I'll bring
Okay.
the slides.
So, okay, let me just take you guys through. So, overall, what as Son shared, like across the globe, there are a lot of females. We thought, okay, there has to be a group, there has to be a platform where we can talk about more into even non-technical. It's not always has to be technical. You're talking technical topics because there's so many meetup groups delivering those technical topics all the time. What we are trying to aim here is get more journeys, explore how people have their own paths, their own challenges. There could be more non technical topics you guys are interested in, and we just discuss those, have more of an interactive session in our chats. As of the ecosystem, we have, I think, 58 groups in the APAC region, all the way from India, Japan, Malaysia, Australia, everywhere. And in total, there are 12 countries which run these meetup groups. APAC group is one group where we are saying, let's all come to a single platform and let's share our own learnings, our own teachings, or anything we would like to share across the globe. There are amazing mules of mentors, ambassadors outside in our APAC region, which you can always reach out to. We try to get more and more information to you guys every time, share more journeys. This time we have Maddie with you, and you will hear in the meetup how it goes. So yep, that's mostly about the ecosystem. It's not a small ecosystem now anymore. I would say it's really expanding on a stage. And Raquel will cover off how we are increasing everything and scaling up the muleys out in the market. Yeah, so let's kickstart with C4E, and then we come back to the discussions.
All right. Yeah. Um, I'll share the screen. All right, guys. With that, I'm going to start our first topic of the day, which is C4A, and I just want to talk about what exactly this C4A is and why we want to talk about it. And what it holds for us, and why it's becoming so critical nowadays for the organization. I don't want you guys to just start thinking what C4 is. I just request everyone just to take a step back and think why we need C4E. What is it that we want to do C4E? And as again, I want this to be very interactive session. I want your response questions onto the chat. Please drop anything if you want to share. So in today's topic for C4E, what we're gonna cover is why C4E. And I guess if I was able to pass that message, why C4E, my half of the job is done over here. And then we're gonna talk about what is C4E, how we can go about setting up C4E, and some of the key considerations about it. All right. So C4E, as most of the people know, it's a capability. It's an organization capability, which is responsible for enabling the organization to create the digital assets. So how earlier integration is supposed to be connecting from one system to two system, MuleSoft has proven that it's not anymore that case. We need to create a digital assets so that the organization can use them. And at the same time, they need to be self-discoverable so that there is no dependency on the people. And how we can do about it, C4 is saying that we are having an operating model which you can implement it, by which you can have various reusable asset best practices. By introducing those, you will going to get a lot of benefits in the organization. But again, let's talk about why C4A. Probably most of the people have heard what is C4A, or it's a operating model enabling the organization. But I want to stress today what is C4A. So, have you guys ever in your organization heard any of these catches, or any of these lines, or any of these phrases from your colleagues, or from different teams, or the business owner, the product sponsor is coming up and saying to your project managers, have you seen this, any of this, like effort estimation are way over the expectations? There is always a dependency on the individual person, and that lead to a bottleneck in the team, and we don't know how to remove that bottleneck, or probably we'll spend another 2 or 3 weeks just to remove that bottleneck. There is no standard in the implementation. All the implementation that you look or you go through the solution, they all vary very much. There is a very low visibility of what is happening in the integration team, or what we don't know. It's just a black box, but they are charging us so much. Cost of the build doesn't reduce over the time as well. And as I stress, mainly on the assets, as part of the implementation, or as part of this integration team, there is no self-discoverable assets has been produced which can bring the visibility to the business people. Because I want to share the thought as well. It used to be a thing before, where business people used to work in their own ecosystem, in their own space, and then IT used to work in their own space. And we'll talk a bit more about it in further slides. But now it's not a case. We need to be very, very adaptive. We need to be very fast. We need to adopt all the changes very fast. We don't have 2 years to produce a solution. We might just have 3 weeks to get into. And COVID has proved that thing very well to everyone. So let me know if you have seen any of these phrases while talking to your colleagues, while you're talking with external to your team, or anybody. So what we are saying by calling out those things is, in digital world, or in digitally, if I want to put, what we are saying is solutions are not reliable. We can't rely on solution. Cost is keep going up. Probably we won't get those fundings after 5 years, but the cost is going up. Then how are we going to manage our solution? Solutions that we are producing is not scalable. People are not able to meet the demand pace, because, as I said, it's the world we are living in. It's so fast paced, moving fast, changing, that we need to catch up that pace. And the increase business and IT gap keep on increasing. And all of this might be because of we are spending a lot of time on doing the same thing again and again, and not even spending any time into the innovation. So with that notion, I just want to highlight, this is some of the graphs, or this is where the C4E comes in a picture, how it's going to enable the organization. So you can see the gap between the IT demand and the delivery capacities keep on growing. If we don't talk about these things, if we don't do these things right, and C4E is acting as a bridge to shorten that gap between the IT and the business. And this is how we are saying we are going to enable the organization. This is how we are saying we're going to create the digital asset. This is where we are saying we are not connecting the systems, we are unlocking the data, we are creating the information for the organization. So what exactly C4E is, it's what exactly the key messages C4E is taking or what it's talking about. If I go about C4E, I can go on and on for the whole day, but I'll really just mindful for the time as well. So that's the reason I just put the key consideration that C4E talk about is what C4E suggests is what first C4E is. C4E is operating model. So what C4E is suggesting is to have a delivery separate, to have a defragmented approach so that we can't end up having a bottleneck, to have a delivery in the sprint so that we can meet the timelines, we can meet the pace by which the business is changing. Because there are the things which we can't control, and business need to evolve over the time. This is why we are here. So we need to facilitate them, we need to enable them, we need to catch up the pace with which they are changing it. To have C4E also suggests to have the managed services, to set up the patterns which can be easily, which will make life lot easier for the people, to make sure that we are doing the things right way. And it has like a lot of various ripple effects as well if the patterns hasn't been chosen right. I've seen with many organization, the things come up like, oh, platform is not capable of doing it. And believe me, if we use some anti-patterns, no platform is able to cope up with that, and what else we are saying? We are saying to have standards. We are saying to have templates. We are saying to have a right architecture in place. Just think through the capability the organization is having. Is there any gap in the capabilities that you are having in your organization? And this is my favorite one, learning and training. So to identify those gaps in the skill for the organization is very critical as well. And what we're going to do about it, how we're going to plan to fulfill those skills. And those skills will be ever changing. The skills that is needed 10 years back is no more needed, right? So we have changed, and those skills will be keep on changing. So it's very critical as well for the organization to think through how we can keep on changing or developing the skills in the organization to be up to the what's going in the latest in the market. Knowledge share and management. And this is very funny thing, I would say people are having agile and they have the notion that, oh, we are working in agile, all right, and it's agile concept. But I want to touch base over here as well. People say, oh, we are in agile, we do not need to produce any document. But that's absolutely wrong. Just imagine after 4 years, if somebody comes to support that solution, what you're gonna give to them. So what agile says to have minimum information. So that's very critical as well. So that's what I'm sharing my experience with most of the people that I talk about with the clients or the organization that I talked about. We are not asking to create 100 pages. Nobody gonna read it, but to capture the minimum information, either in form of a diagram. Why to write 10 pages? Just create one diagram, But all those things C4E talks bit in detail. What are the standards we need to have? What are the templates we need to have? What would be the roles and responsibilities we need to have? So how we gonna go about C4E setup, First, I would suggest to look the organization. What is the organization need is there, and then go about it. Set up some of the artifacts that I was talking earlier. These are just some of the example that I thought have the patterns, have the life cycles of them, having the standards, having the right architecture in place is very important as well. Creating those capability model, creating those unlocking data, like landscape model is very important as well. And this is a very interesting thing, like I found out, and these are just purely my experience that when I work with various clients, I just get all those things. And I think so it's very critical to call them out over here because that will lead to a great extent to the success of your C4E in your organization. there is no set equation for to establish the C4E. This is the key consideration you need to think. Like if you are thinking that we can go and say that A plus B is equal to C, it doesn't work. Every organization is different. Every organization setup is different. Skills are different. People, the equation of the people is different. Teams is different. The way their business is running is very different as well. So you need to study the organization, what the scale of the organization is. If you are having 3 people, then there is no point of having 5 people team just to manage it. Just, right, so there could be a one person who is doing those things. So that's the reason I'm calling it out over here. There's no set equation to establish it. Other thing which is very critical as well, I found people are saying about center of excellence. It is when I start talking to the people and they say it's center of excellence. And no, it is not. It is not. You can't confuse having center of excellence and C4E in your mind together if you're thinking. Still, I think so, haven't got the C4E concept right. So you have to, I would probably suggest start going through with the differences that's there. It's purely about enabling the organization. It's not you becoming a bottleneck for the organization, or which we have seen when we used to establish C4E. We have seen that journey, that how people sometimes can become bottleneck. So we are trying to get away from it by introducing C4E. You want to enable people, you want to enable organization, you want to enable the skills in the organization, and that's where we are talking about C4E. And when you are setting up the C4E, think through the catalyst role. Some of the catalyst role, which I would suggest probably you have to think about, And I also want to introduce this thing like 3P, which worked very well for me in regards to the C4E. What is this 3P I'm talking over here? This is a very critical piece for any organization as well. People, process, phases. So if you get it right, those 3P in your operating model, you are all set, So give a bit of consideration about those 3P, how it will gonna look, what would be the engagement of those 3Ps, and just think through it, carefully. The other thing which I really think which make a big difference is having setting the KPI metrics for yourself. If you are doing C4E, even if let's say there is one person who say, okay, I'm going to take charge of some of the responsibilities that C4E suggested, and I'm going to be there facilitating the assets. I'm going to look after architecture and stuff, which is very difficult, I guess, if one person is taking that role. But I'm just saying the least, if that is the setup you guys are having, just set up the KPI metrics so that it's easy for you to track your progress as well, whether you're going in right direction, whether it's going in how far you have gone, whether you are able to meet or you are going in altogether different direction, or probably you're not even getting a time. This is what I'm talking is very practical. In the organization, we say, oh, we're gonna do, but have the time for it, and if you are going for a full-fledged proper C4E setup, having a core C4E team, then also define the KPI metrics. What would be the KPI metrics? And when I say KPI metrics, don't just relate to the API. Okay, API will KPI metrics. No, I'm talking about the KPI for the organization enablement as well, for having rest other pieces as well, strategies, awareness, how we're going to create reusable assets, how we're going to use them, whether it's self-discoverable or not. Those are very critical things that we need to do, and those are the critical things which will make success, or which will lead to success, I will say. And so that's pretty much it about C4E that I want to cover today. There is a lot to talk about it, but I'm just a bit mindful of the time as well. And if you guys want to touch base with me, I'll share my email ID and LinkedIn as well. You guys can connect me over there. And with that, I'm very excited. Guys, please ask any questions that you want to check or which was not clear. Let me know in the chat if you have any of the questions regarding it, or some of the things that you want to still clear it out. And with that, thank you all for listening me. And we'll jump to our next topic of today, which I'm very excited about. And I'll let Rajneet, who will be the moderator, and with our very special speaker, I let Mary Joy Sabal to talk about her journey, and I hand over to Rajneet.
Thank you, Sonal, for covering so much on C4E. Um, and first of all, let's just let Mary introduce herself, which most of you might know her, but let's hear from Mary first.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor, and I'd like to thank everyone for your time. Taking out of your busy day. So I'm Mary Joy Sabal. You could call me Joy. I'm based in Auckland, New Zealand. I'm originally from Philippines. So I see Ryan there. Ryan there. Hi, Ryan. Um, yeah, so I work as a solution architect for DXC Technology. So it's just one of the hats that I'm wearing. I'm also the executive MuleSoft solution. So I look after the MuleSoft practice from the pre-sales, the project, mentoring the consultants, and yeah, everything in between. So yep, that's me. And yeah, I started as a developer, integration developer, and from there I became a senior integration developer, and then technical lead, and then I became a practice lead, and then yeah, now solution architect. And yeah, that's about me.
So, have you been like in MuleSoft all the way through, or have you hopped in from different technologies and then came to MuleSoft?
No. So my first ever job, I was a COBOL developer. That was, I think, 11 years ago. And as you know, COBOL is one of the, oldest programming languages. And after COBOL, I shifted to a full stack developer. So I
Mhm.
worked on J2EE with Ant. So back then, Maven is not a thing, so it's still Ant that we use. And then in the front end, we were using JSF, JSP, and
Yeah.
then, in the in the database, we use the Oracle SQL Developer, which I think is widely used until now. So I've stayed on that role for like, I think, more than 3 years. And then I decided to focus more or narrow down my skill to a back end developer, which is focusing on Java. So that, yeah, after that, I was, mainly back end developer. And I think that's one of the factors why I fell in love with MuleSoft, because we're just behind the scene, but they don't know that we're so powerful that we could do a lot of things. And yeah, so I've stayed on that role as a Java developer for another 2 years, and then I moved here to New Zealand, and that is where when my integration journey started. So at that point, I still not I'm still not using MuleSoft. It's an open source integration. I started as a support, um, and I think support is a really good foundation, because that's the
Mm.
fastest way how you could learn about the business when you're fixing bug, when you're analyzing the logs and all. And I think that was a really good opportunity for me to have a solid foundation in integration, like what's the REST API, what are the standards in REST, without entering MuleSoft world yet. So I've stayed on that role for, I think, a year. And then I told my team lead that, I miss development. I want to focus on development now. So he shifted me to, development, but still the same technology. And at that point, I was already taking MuleSoft training course. That was back Mule 3.8, 3.9. And then that was 2017. And then I took the advanced training MuleSoft as well, like class settings, wherein they've sent Gopal from the US to teach us about the advanced training in MuleSoft. But at that point, I wasn't getting an actual project yet. Like I couldn't apply what I'm learning, and I was really frustrated because, at that point we still don't have much opportunity around MuleSoft. But I was being patient, and that's, I think, one of the lessons that I could share with you guys, that your breakthrough is coming. You just have to be patient, and timing is everything. So until you get to that stage or that opportunity, you keep on upskilling yourself and be technically equipped, so that when you get to that point, you're just gonna conquer those challenges because you already have this basic knowledge.
That's right.
So yeah, after that, I finally got my first project. It was an airline company. It's a mothership. Is it mothership or like a national airline here in New Zealand? So at that time, I was doing fully event driven, and it's about MuleSoft only, hardcore development of MuleSoft. So for 6 months, I was doing that, and that was already Mule 4.
Mhm.
So I
So
was
you got trained in Mule 3, but your first project was on Mule 4.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but that helps because I did migration. So
Yes, that's right. So
yeah,
you have that. Yeah.
yeah. So during that time, I was doing the Mule 4 training already,
Mm.
and I got certified that year with a Mule 4. It was easy. So, and another lesson is, it's easier if you apply straight away those knowledge, like in a real project, because you
Mhm.
you absorb what you learned, right? And yeah, it became really helpful with the project. So I know about Mule 3 and Mule 4 now, and migration. So it was a relief, from migrating from Mule 3 to Mule 4, because there are lots of major changes in Mule 4. So I could
So,
identify, yeah, right.
so as you mentioned, like when you were doing this Java development and when you picked up a MuleSoft training, how did you actually come to know, like, this is a training, it's going on in my company or somewhere, I should just pick it up? Was it like coming to you from your seniors or from your peers? Like, we all are doing this training. Why don't you join us as well?
It depends, because from consulting company, they would identify people that they wanted to place in a project, right?
Mhm.
And from my end, I just need to speak up and say, hey, I'd like to work on this technology stack. And if there's opportunity on that, they were just gonna deploy you easily. So when I
Right.
was transitioning from Java to, or I mean, from another integration tool to MuleSoft, it was like, I fell in love in MuleSoft, that that moment, because coming from a Java background, like, wow, this is really cool. Like, I don't need to code it from scratch. That's, yeah, it's a low code. And knowing that it's Mule 3 and Mule 3 from Mule 4, like there's a way, improvement, big
Yeah.
improvement.
I can resonate with your feelings with Java, Mule 3,
Yeah,
and then Mule 4. Oh goodness.
yeah.
That's right. And then you like continue to be ambassador, like altogether, mentor, ambassador.
No,
You didn't stop with your journey, right?
at that point, I wasn't actively involved in the community yet.
Hmm.
I was really focused on getting to know more about MuleSoft,
Right.
because that's what you do, right?
Hmm.
When you love something, you get to know more about it.
That's right.
And yeah, so from that point, I was climbing the ladder. I was getting promoted from mid integration developer to senior, and then technical lead. So technical lead, from developer to a technical lead was a challenge for me because I do get a lot of meetings talking to, more client facing. And for me, like, my energy is getting drained. And I have to look after now a team. So I was used to working, at the corner, delivering my own stuff, but now I have to look after this team and make sure that I have to deliver my stuff as well. So I was on the phone with my mentor and telling all this, frustrations. And I guess it's a part of growing up. You learn the hard way, and when you are struggling, that's when you're growing up, you know and yeah. And then eventually I managed to conquer that stage of transitioning from a developer to managing, or I mean, to leading a team. And it's not only me. The credit goes to my manager as well. The credit goes to my customer as well, who fully supports me in every step of the way. So but the good thing, I was still doing MuleSoft, and it's getting deeper and deeper, the knowledge. And that time really, I was really motivated to shift now from being a developer to an architect.
Mhm.
So that time I wasn't ambassador yet, and I don't get free trainings from MuleSoft. So I have to find a way. How can I book for a training? And one way is attending meetups like this. So that was during lockdown, and we can't do anything. We can't do much during lockdown, just at home. So I was just attending meetups. My Saturday nights were all about meetups that year, 2019, 2020.
Yeah.
And I could still remember, I won the quiz as a first place in Patna in India. I was
Right.
actively participating in India meetups because I find it really technical, really interactive, and I could hear use cases that I couldn't work on in New Zealand, like open
Mhm.
banking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And this is a testament that you could learn a lot of things out of meetups,
Yes, that's
and
right.
you could find mentors as well. That I do have mentors that I haven't seen in person, but they've been my mentors for years now, and it's because I met them in meetup.
That's pretty
So
interesting.
yeah. So I was just attending meetup, and then I got that free training. So I booked myself in integration solutions training. So that was a 5 days training with Nathan Lee,
Yes.
which is one of the amazing instructors in MuleSoft and one of the funniest. So
Yes.
yeah, and then after that, I got my MCPA and MCIA that year. That was 2020,
Mm.
and then I met Sabrina Pocket.
Yes.
So Sabrina messaged me, and yeah, just introducing, But so yeah, basically she offered me, like, if you want to get involved, like in meetups, like speaking in meetups and blah blah blah. But my answer is not that wasn't that good. But I told her that, look, I just wanted to fulfill all of the certificates first, because I truly believe that I can't mentor others if I'm not technically equipped.
Mhm.
So I just need to get things done because this is my personal goal, all the certificates. And then from there, I will focus on community. So after that year, and that was during my birthday, I got my MCIA. And my 2020 birthday, that was the first time as well I spoke to MuleSoft Connect 2020. And that was my first public or MuleSoft engagement. I didn't even speak in local meetup. I speak straight away international. I was really nervous, and I got this big luggage from US because that time it was COVID. So I had to set up everything and record, you know. And yeah, so I the topic that I gave was about Maven archetypes, and until now I'm still getting lots of messages and appreciation about that topic, which is really good because it's been like 2 years, but they still, bringing that up. And yeah, that was the first. I think that was the start of
Mm-hmm.
my involvement in the community. So after that, I got, invite to speak to different meetups from India, from New York, as early as 4 a.m. New Zealand time on a winter, time zone, and yeah, in Malaysia. So yeah, so that was a start, and then I was writing blogs for MuleSoft, and
Hmm.
I didn't really, focus on getting the ambassadorship. I'm just enjoying, sharing my experience and knowledge with the community, because I've been on that same boat, that,
Yeah.
I was looking up to my mentors because they're helping me out, and I just wanted to give this back to the community. And for me, that recognition was really, yeah, overwhelming, because I didn't really expect that, and I appreciate MuleSoft for acknowledging that. And yeah, that's the journey basically to ambassadorship. And yeah, and then I became a practice lead after technical lead. So this is where I'm managing people. What are your goals, performance review. And again, this is a stage that was really special. So I transitioned this stage from being technical to commercial.
Yeah.
So I was doing pre-sales. They're sending me to places that I've never been because of the business trip. And only MuleSoft could do this to me. Only the project. Like, they they asked me to fly to like South Island, in one of the towns there, just to evangelize MuleSoft, and just to give a pitch. And that was my first time landing on that town, just because of MuleSoft. And that's been so many times. And yeah, and I was doing, yeah, I was managing the team. I was finding opportunities, keep on evangelizing MuleSoft. And yeah.
Okay. Let me take you through. Let me ask you some bits. Maybe you are on the point here. Okay. What would be the three topics you love most talking about MuleSoft?
You mean technical or non-technical?
Like technical, non-technical, anything. Three things.
Oh, that was a really good question. First thing that comes into my mind is MUnit. I have love hate
Mhm.
relationship with MUnit.
Everyone would have that.
Yeah, I actually wrote a blog about MUnit testing strategies. I love
Mhm.
MUnit because it sees the issues that I couldn't even see myself. And I
Mm.
love MUnit for that. But I don't love MUnit if there's a technical problem in studio, for example, or if it's not working as expected. So yeah, MUnit. And then second would be Cloud Hub, because I specialize in Cloud Hub. All of my projects so far are using Cloud Hub. I love I do understand the networking side, which is something that you wouldn't able to learn when you're just coding, right?
Yes.
And it's important to know where you deploy your APIs, like how it's connect to other systems, internally,
Yeah.
externally. And third would be API, or any security topics in general.
Hmm.
I believe that integration security is the next big thing.
Yeah.
And even if it's a platform security, application security, CI/CD security, it should be top of the priority. And we're gonna
Yeah.
get to that point that there's gonna be a role saying integration security specialist,
Oh,
and I
why
could
not?
imagine that. So those are the topics that.
Yeah. Always interest you.
Yeah.
And where would you see, like, what would be your next step with MuleSoft? Like, what you think should be the next thing for you to achieve being in MuleSoft?
I guess I want to take off the other verticals that I haven't worked on. So I still have insurance and health left on my, I don't say bucket list, but like project
A
list.
list. Yeah,
Yeah.
project list.
But the rest of the
Right.
verticals I've already worked on. Federal
Yeah.
governments, local governments, private banking,
Hmm.
airport, airline. So yeah. And then next would be I wanted to empower women in MuleSoft community, because I believe that, you know, this kind of event we should we should celebrate it about.
Yeah.
And we don't notice, but there's someone out there that, you know, we empower, and we know the we inspire, that we just didn't notice, you know,
Yeah.
because when we see women, you know, in the leadership, there would be others who would, you know, who would step up as well.
Yeah.
And we just need these mentors. Like we lack of mentors in you know, women mentors, what I meant. So yeah, I want to focus on um you know, I want to focus on that, and to break that, you know, male dominated, you know, industry. The only thing is we just need to get more women in technology. That's
Yeah.
the solution. And
Right.
yeah, and if you know, if you know someone, or if you met someone that you'd like to be a mentor, reach out to them. You know, reach
Yeah.
out to them, don't hesitate, and ask if, you know, they could be your mentor. And it would make a big difference. So these small things like speaking in meetups, writing blogs, these are the small things that, you know, could empower women in
Yeah.
technology. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you, Mary. I would give this away to this whole to all the audience here. The topics, you if you want to have a chat with Mary, these are the topics: M unit, security, Cloud Hub. Just shoot out, send her a message. She is on LinkedIn. She has a lot of blogs. We'll post you the links of the blogs that she writes. It's amazing. And and if you really want a mentor, here is one.
Oh, by the way, I'll promote the MuleSoft Mentor Program. So we've got a separate program apart from ambassadorship. So that's the
Yeah.
first step that you'll have to take before the ambassadorship. And you know, it's a good thing to, I think MuleSoft has the best community, like enterprise level community, vibrant community.
Yeah.
And even we're like so far away from each other, like we're close. You know, uh,
That's right. Still connected.
yeah, still connected.
That's awesome. That was really lovely, Mary, to hear all of this from you. And I think it would inspire a lot of people to get onto their journey, especially for the people who are really starting up on the MuleSoft, trying to or to get a switch to MuleSoft. It's really good for them to understand that it's just your time. You have to wait for it and get your right project in. Thank you so much. I'll give it back to you, Sonal, for the next section.
Mm, yeah. Thanks, Rajneet. So I'm just a bit mindful of the time as well. But Mary, whatever you have shared is really very inspiring to the women, and I'm sure that's the message for this group as well, to inspire, empower, and to create that inclusive culture. You know, and I'm sure there would be a lot of people who will be inspiring today and inspired today, and will be looking forward. Um, for other mentors and ambassadors as well speaking over here. With that, I'll pass on to Raquel to share what's the training and certificates that are coming up, especially in the APAC region, and so that the guys who get inspired with the joy can now set their journey for the certificates and get into the MuleSoft ecosystem or get promoted to the architecture and other things and expand their horizon into it. Raquel, to you.
Thank you, and Joy, that was so inspiring. I'm just tingling over here after listening to that. So yeah, you're an inspiration for so many, and especially women, who in particular we are here to celebrate. So a little about myself. If you want, Sonal, you can go to the next slide. I am a MuleSoft training advisor for ANZ, and I work alongside the marvelous training and certification team, and I'm based in Sydney. So before landing at MuleSoft, I had a diverse background spanning IT. I've owned a Latin dance studio. I had a few children in between. And then most recently, I was managing a government grant program at Business Events Sydney. And I'm very passionate about learning and development. And I'm really inspired by success stories, especially those of other women. So it's really a great honor to be here today to talk about training. For those of you in New Zealand, and I think it's fantastic that, Joy, you happen to be here today, one of my most important goals this year is to increase the number of MuleSoft certifications in the New Zealand ecosystem this year. So watch this space. Moving on to the next slide. We have, I think one of you mentioned earlier, we have Connect coming up. Joy, you said that you spoke at the 2020 Connect. So the virtual event of that is happening next month from June 22. So you'll be able to experience, the new products and technologies for API management, integration and automation. You'll hear about how different industries are leveraging the Salesforce Customer 360, which is powered by Tableau and Slack. And once you've registered, you'll get access to the virtual sessions that are going to be available for the entire week prior to the main event. So there's also a keynote, which is streaming on June 30 at 10 a.m. AEST. And that's featuring the Salesforce co-CEO, Brett Taylor, MuleSoft CEO, Brent Hayward, and there's also some really inspiring speakers and customer success stories. So for more info, head on over to connect.mulesoft.com. So that's Connect. Moving on to the next slide. This is what excites me the most about my job, and it's just to talk about our training offerings. So for any of you that are new to the platform and MuleSoft, you'll find all of our training offerings on our website at training.mulesoft.com. And if you're just starting out, I think, Joy, you mentioned it, it's just important to just start, not get overwhelmed and start learning. So I think this advice really transcends whether, it's your field of study or even a hobby. And when I joined MuleSoft only 4 months ago, I was having to remind myself of this exact advice. So for those of you that are interested in, I think, a very exciting future-proof career in digitally transforming businesses through IT development, the entry point to start your journey is really easily accessible. So there is a self-paced getting started with Anypoint platform and also development fundamentals course. And as one of our MuleSoft mentors, Patrick, says you can attend self-paced, so you can take as much time as you need, on a particular topic. there's a lot of hands-on exercises with real-life cases. And there's just so much to support your learning. There's a lot of resources and documentation, tutorials, and of course, our amazing mentors. So for those of you that, aren't a fan of self-paced, and maybe you're a bit more like me and need a bit more motivation, we do have the classroom setting, which is the instructor-led training. And that's all done virtually at the moment. And it's really highly impactful because you do, I guess, learn a lot faster under the close supervision of your instructor. And it's just designed to get you up to speed with MuleSoft, under the guidance of the best instructors on the platform. And Joy, you mentioned you've learnt with Nathan. He's on our JPAC instructor team, and I can absolutely vouch for him. He's an incredible instructor. So super proud that he's one of our instructors. And if you have any other questions about any of our training offerings, just feel free to reach out to me. I'm sure Sanal will share my contact details later. Just quickly moving on, because I know we're running out of time. We'll just this
Sorry,
is fine.
Raquel, you have to tell me.
That's fine. Yeah, this is fine. So this is, for any of you interested in our courses, if you go over to bit.ly/JPAC schedule, you'll see the training schedule and all the courses that are instructor-led. All the timings are on there. So that's that. And I'll leave you with one last slide. Always leave the best to last. This month, if you certify or recertify and fill out our annual survey, you will get your MuleSoft certified t-shirt. And although I think that's really great, the best part of it for us is collecting really valuable information and feedback from our students. And that's what makes us, want to keep improving and in doing what we do. And last year, our students told us how they benefited from gaining their MuleSoft certification, and they shared really great insights into what they wanted to see from us, and also shared their top recommendations for anyone preparing for the certifications. So among their responses, there were things like it was really beneficial, seeing that they could apply what they've just learned into their current roles. It helped them gain confidence with Mule applications, and others told us that their profiles were getting noticed in the job market after getting certified compared to pre-certification, as well as just being able to fast track MuleSoft customer success with the platform by being able to transform complex customer projects into business solutions. And of course, it also enhanced their learning roadmap. And for those of you that are thinking of certifying, these were some of the top recommendations from our previous certified students, including that the instructor-led course was fantastic, and coupled with the self-paced course, you'll have a really good understanding of the Mule product suite. Master error handling routines, take the 5-day self-study course, build out as many examples as possible yourself. I like this one. Don't be afraid to ask questions. We do have, as you can see, an amazing MuleSoft community, so don't be shy. Check out our Max the Mule videos and go to the forum and post questions as well as answers. You never know, you might know something more than someone else does, and you'll be able to help. And also attend MuleSoft online training. And the last bit of advice from last year's survey is study hard, and don't be upset if you fail the exam. You can always try another time, and I think that's really great advice. So I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you so much for having me today, and yeah, I look forward to attending many more meetups. So yeah, thanks again, everyone. And please feel free to reach out with any training questions.
On that, Raquel, I can also, share that my MuleSoft journey started because of the swags. It encouraged me so much that I want to get the certification on that very month, which I was pending it from last. I guess I've made it postponed for 4 5 months, and then I saw this and like, yeah, this is a month. I have to get it. So I guess these are very good encouragement. You can see me sitting over here now talking about the MuleSoft after so many years. So, yeah. And with that,
There's just one question for you. There's just one question for you, Raquel. Are there any self-paced videos for MCD level 2?
Not yet. So speaking of that, that's actually something that is coming out very soon. Don't have a date yet. But to prepare for the MCD Level 2 certification, we highly recommend our production ready courses. So there's 2. And if you just go back 2 slides there, Sona, I've included a map. There it is. So that's our developer path for any of you that are interested. Just forward one slide forward. And that's it. That's the one. Yes, so there's the production ready development practices and production ready integrations course. So if you're really into your path as a developer, this will just take you to that next level. So, and of course, you'll be in good stead to then sit the MCD Level 2 exam, which is coming out. It's coming out this year. Just don't have an exact date on that yet.
cool. All right. Thanks, Raquel. That was really very good help for the community to know what's coming up so that they can enroll. And we have got the encouragement from Joy, and you have fulfilled the gap of when they are thinking how we can take the same journey. Thanks for all sharing the schedules and stuff. So now this is an interesting part. Before we wrap up, I just want to share with everyone. Keep asking the question onto the chat. And if you are interested to win some swags, so we are having 3 training vouchers, and you can email me as well and Rajneet as well onto the email IDs that's mentioned over there. And whosoever email first the answer of these questions will get a chance to win that. So the question is, what is C4E stands for? These are very basic questions. I guess you might have know by now at least. What is C4E technology? Is it C4E technology specific or not? Yes or no? C4E same as COE? Yes or no? Can you see C4 establishment has or will add any value to the organization? And for the last one, I can say only one right answer. So if you can shoot out some emails to these email, send the response to these email ID for these questions, there would be high chance that you will be getting free training voucher from this meetup, which I guess Joy has also shared how much it has added value in your career growth as well. To go, isn't it? Sure.
Yeah, so there are answers in the chat, but make sure you send all 3 answers and be quick. 4 answers together.
Yeah, if you can send these answer for these questions, you can probably say answer 1, 2, 3 into the chat, then it would be good. All right. So I'll keep this slide open, or probably what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep it another minute and then we'll wrap up.
Yeah. Do you want me to pose the questions in the chat?
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah.
All right.
So if you can do that. So guys, Three Training Watchers, very exciting, And again, if we are always looking for a speaker, if you want to be one of the speaker, if you want to share your journey, or if you want to share anything inspiring to the women community or the MuleSoft community, and help us to create that inclusive culture in the ecosystem, then please let us know. Message us, email us. We will share how we gonna. You can contact us by joining these groups as well. We are having the LinkedIn group. We are having Women Who MuleSoft meetup group as well, specifically for the APAC region now. Thanks to all of you guys. And we will be posting the, and we will be contacting the people who will going to get, and the person who's sharing the answer might be, it's about the speed as well, if you know. So message or send us the email, probably you have shared with everyone. Somebody would be smart copying it and sending to us first. So guys, be quick. That's the whole point in that. And we will be, you can connect with us for the speaker. Let us know. We will invite you for the next meetup. We will be happy to have you in this meetup group and just sharing your experience and stuff. And before I said thanks to everyone, Rajni, do you want to add anything over here?
I was about to say Chihiro and Krishna, your answers are right, but it was to be in the email.
Yeah, cool.
We have got like 3-4 emails already. We'll get to that as soon as we get out of here.
Yeah, cool. All right. Thank you. First, I would probably like to thank Joy to take out the time from the New Zealand. It's a bit late over there. Really appreciate, and you can see the response that we get. You have really inspired lot of people, and I'm really very fascinated about MuleSoft Ambassador program and the way you said the situations are there to make you learn. So that's a takeaway for me, and I'm sure there would be a lot of audience. They will be having a lot of more takeaway from your inspiring journey as well. So thanks a lot, Joy. And I'd like to thank Raquel as well to share that with everyone, the training schedule. I'm sure there would be a lot of people who are interested in and trying to get hold on to those vouchers. And
to those t-shirts.
So this is
there also.
And to this t-shirts. Yeah. So we will. These are the things that if please let us know what you want to hear from us in the next one. You want to do trivia. You want to be a speaker. You want to have some panel discussions, certain topics, anything. Please let us know, into the chat. You can contact us by going to the meetup group as well. It get to me, it get to Rajneet. We are happy to answer that. And next meetup would hopefully organize in month of July. So, and before we leave, thanks to all of you for joining us today. It was really great to have you on board.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Joy, for taking the time. And thank you, Raquel, for taking us through all the training materials.
Thanks, ladies.
Thank you, ladies.
You. And we'll get to the winners